You might know the right questions to ask a real estate agent, but the answers you receive are just as important. Stay with me and I'm going to explain to you why. I am Julia Boland, a licensed associate real estate broker at the Corcoran Group. For over 2 decades, I've been helping buyers, sellers, and investors succeed in New York City residential real estate. In this video, I'm going to share with you the top 5 questions that are typically asked of a real estate agent, from how is the market right now to how long will it take me to find a home? And I'm going to tell you the answers you should be looking for. Number 1 question is, how is the market right now? Pretty generic question, right? Well, if you get a generic answer, let me tell you, that is not necessarily the right agent for you if you need in-depth market information. A seasoned real estate agent will love when you ask that question because it tells them what you're really asking is this a good time to buy or is this a good time to sell? If they turn around and then start asking you qualifying questions about what are you thinking of doing, in what time frame, what's your budget, then you have not only found an agent who's savvy, but you've also found someone who's willing to work with you. Now, if you are asking this question, how is the market, of a New York City real estate agent, you have to understand that New York City is made up of 34 different neighborhoods. And if you've ever looked at a quarterly report that the brokerage companies put out, you will see that they divide it up into sections. For example, the Corcoran Group will do Northern Manhattan, Upper West Side, Upper East Side, Midtown East and West, Downtown, and all of those areas will have their own statistics. Additionally, there's a divide typically between properties priced below $3 million, properties priced $3 million to $5 million, properties priced $5 million above, considered luxury. All those different buyer segments have different economic impact. Now wait, because we go even further, and that is you will find that there is a difference between condo, co-op, and townhouse. Each one of those little segments is its own micro market. And this isn't made up. There's enough statistical evidence to draw realistic conclusions about what those little markets are doing. So if you want to drill down and get a lot of information on specifically what you are looking for, pay attention to what that agent says when you ask, how's the market? Second most common question is, how do I qualify to purchase a condo or a co-op or townhouse? We begin by asking our clients to get pre-approved for their mortgage if they're planning on getting one. Now, you don't need one to work with us per se, but there are certain sellers who will ask the agent to present that before they even grant an appointment, and that's up to the discretion of the seller. But even more importantly is that if you're out looking at properties and you find one that you've fallen in love with, chances are good another buyer did as well. And if they beat you to putting in an offer, it lessens your chances of getting that property. So get yourself pre-approved for your mortgage, get your financial ducks in a row, and be ready. Now, you might say to me, I'm paying all cash. Not a problem, but make sure you have your proof of funds ready to go with the account number redacted. If you go through the pre-approval process and find out from your mortgage banker that you are not qualifying on your own, what you can do is reach out to a family member. We see this happen frequently, and especially in the past couple of years as the rental rates have gone up and family members have decided that they want to help out their children, brother, sister, whatever, so that they are not paying these astronomical fees and rents and not building equity. So you can do this. It's especially easy with a condominium. I see this frequently in the market where parents have children who are attending university in New York City, or they decide that they're starting their professional life here, and the parents will say, look, we're going to buy a condominium for you, you will live in it, and in lieu of rent, you're going to pay the common charges and real estate taxes. This frequently happens and it works out well. If you have a co-purchaser in a co-op, you are going to get a better price and it will keep you out of being in the rental market where the prices are high and you're throwing away your money. But you do want to be aware of the fact that there will be restrictions on the rental and not all co-ops will allow co-purchasing. So be aware of that as you're selecting homes to take a look at. How long will it take to find a home? Now, the answer to this, it always varies. And A big part of it, of course, is the inventory levels. And as we're recording this video right now in New York City, there is plenty of selection, but depending on where the market is, that inventory level will play a big factor into how long it will take you. Now, the other thing is, what is your approach to looking at properties? There are some buyers who will sit down and they will write out a long list of very detailed information about what they want in a home. They're prepared, they're ready, they go out, they only look at properties that match their criteria. There are other people who really need to feel the home. They need to be emotionally attached to it. And they need to just have this sense that it's the right one. And they might decide to look at properties all the way from Harlem to Murray Hill to downtown. That's going to add length to your search time. Now, what about your decision-making process? Some people make decisions quickly. Others really need to dither and look at both sides. So your decision-making process will also play a factor in this. Do be aware that if you are in a fast-paced market and you're someone who dithers, I would encourage you to team up with an agent who can really help you sit down and quickly say, this is what you told me you wanted to achieve. This is the property that fits the criteria we identified together, and help you get to a decision quickly so you don't lose out on a property. The fourth piece of how long it will take in New York City is the process. Whether you're buying a condo or a co-op, in a condo you submit a purchase application and a co-op a board package, pretty much the same information. You will submit that to the managing agent. Managing agents take their time to put it together. Some agents can turn it around in a few days, others need a couple of weeks, depending on their workload, and then they turn that over to a board of directors of the building. How often they review applications and how long it takes them also varies, so that will be a factor. And wait, there's more. In New York City, we don't have set closing dates, so give yourself flexibility. Overall, we recommend 3 to 6 months, but you might want to pad a month here or there if you're under a time crunch. What are the closing costs? Any agent should be able to hand you a document where the condo and co-op closing costs and townhouse closing costs are laid out, and it will give you the ability to estimate what your costs will be. Just be aware that for new development, they're a little bit more than a condo, and a condo is a little bit more than a co-op. So if you want to go for a lower price, you're always going for a co-op when it comes to closing costs. Now, here is one closing cost I really want to bring to your attention, and it is the flip tax. What the flip tax is not actually a tax you're paying to the government. It is a tax that a building will put on typically sellers, but sometimes buyers. They do that in order to build up the building's reserves. It's good to have a building with healthy reserves. Should something be required, replacing a boiler, local law 11, roof, etc., you're not being slapped with a big assessment. So the flip tax goes toward building up the reserves. Where you want to be careful is if the building imposes one on the buyer. You're going to need to know that before you submit an offer so that you can make it part of your negotiations and not get surprised later on. Final question, how long has this property been on the market? Now, this is my hands down favorite question that I get all the time, because give someone an answer and they just nod. Well, you need information to discern whether or not it's a long time or a short time on the market. Let's start with days on the market. If you don't know what the current days on the market are for a property, you don't know if the number of days this current property that you're looking at has been on a long time or a short time. Now, to all of us in our immediate world, 60, 90 days feels like eternity. But guess what? It might not be when you're looking at property. It could be the halfway mark. So you want to ask the listing agent what the days on market are. The other thing you want to know is, what about accessibility or the seller's disposition? Anyone who's ever had an infant knows that you're not going to disturb that sleep schedule, and that could be limiting how often someone can get in to see the home. Additionally, we now have a lot of people who work from home who can't be disturbed on certain days for Zoom meetings. We get that. So if showings have been restricted and not enough people have come through to see the apartment, then that could explain days on market. Finally, condition. It is not uncommon for a seller to think that their place is perfect condition to move in. And yet when you're looking, you might decide, wow, I really need to renovate this to bring it up to a standard where I would feel comfortable. And the photos might actually make it look great. Most agents are not trying to hide something. You just take a photo of what the property is, but it could ultimately look better online than it does when you're in the property. So all these factors will impact days on market. One last one is pricing. And this is a big one. If the property started at an ambitious price and there were some price adjustments and now it's at the right price, I always like to mentally think like, okay, once we hit the right price, then how many days has it been on the market in comparison to what a typical days on the market is right now? And that is a closer indication of whether or not the property has been on too long or just listed. Okay, now that we've looked at the top 5 questions the real estate agents get, you should have a better idea of how to understand when they answer you, whether that's how long this property has been on the market, to how is the market today, to what are the closing costs. Pay attention with this information in the back of your mind, and you will be much better prepared to transact. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you gained some invaluable insights into the New York City residential real estate market through this video. If you have more questions, you should always feel free to reach out to me. DM me, call me, email me, whatever. I'd be happy to hear from you. I am Julia Boland, principal of the Boland Team at the Corcoran Group. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss another video where I bring transparency to a complicated market.